Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. First of all, let us praise to the Almighty Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, who has given us healthy spare time so we can gather in this Zoom meeting to present our project. Secondly, let's say salawat and salam upon the Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, who has guided us from the darkness into the brightness. To the Honorable Professor Dr. Sri Minda Murni MS, as a lecturer of research method in the sixth semester, and all my lovely friends. Here, we would like to present our project. It's about violence against children, the members subgroup, Sri Dodi Simatupang, Dia Mutiana, and Putra Hadi, and Putri Handayani. The first introduction will be presented by Basri Dodi. Time is yours.
Well, thank you for the moderator. Now I will present about introductions. Violence in extreme from the aggressions such as assault, rape, or murder. Violence has many causes, including prestations, exposure to violent media. Violence is the home on neighborhood and the tendency to see other people's actions as hostile even when they are not. Violence gives many negative impact to the victims and also to their family. In this era, we often listen to news about violence that happened to the children. This violence against children has lifelong impacts on health and well-being children, families, communities, and nations. It's all about introductions. Back to the moderator.
Okay, the next slide will be presented by me. What is the issue? Based on the social news, social media, and situation in our environment, we decided to make a project assignment about violence against children. Violence against children on the rise can be worrying or worries. According to Wright Verdianto 2016, who said that cases of violence against children can occur in the child's immediate environment, namely in the homes, schools, educational institution, and children's social environment. Perpetrator violence against children, as well as those closest to them, such as fathers, biological mothers, uncle, and teachers. Children who get violence from parents or members of family can have an adverse impact on child. According Article BC 2010 states that the impact of acts of violence will arise in the form of reduced confidence in the children. Children's abilities in socializing to the community becomes hampered, health becomes disturbed, autonomy is reduced both in the economic field. Many people think that cases of violence against children is not a serious event. So many violence against children, but the events that were followed up who were only few in the number. Meanwhile, a child will become the next generation nation that is expected to change our nation to be more advanced. The life of a child at a young age greatly affect the life of a child later when the child is an adult. This research aims to remind us again and increase our sense of awareness and concern as humans for others, especially for children. The next slide, please. And then the process collecting the data will be presented by Putri Handiani. Time is yours.
Process collecting in data. A process collecting in the person. The data were collected through visual method. Visual method are used to understand and interpret image. Baru itu and include photography, a film, a video, painting, a drawing, a slogan, sculpture, artwork, graffiti, advertising, and cartoons. Using photography as an example, the photography take illustrate reality and give information. Information about the photographer, the truth, the angle, the focus of the image, and the moment which the picture was taken. Based of the explanation of the theory in collecting the data we talk from the internet, news, video, and also feature of from social media. Please, next slide. Back to moderator. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for Putri Handayani. And the next, it's about process analyzing the data will be presented by Dea Mutiana. Time is yours.
Okay, thank you to moderator. For this project, we use one theory from an expert that make us can find some sources to be classified according to the theory. The theory according to Yanto 2010 in page 29. From the theory, we search for some picture that related to the violence against children. After found picture and the description, we classify the picture to the content of the theory. Thank you. Back to the moderator.
Okay, thank you for Dea Mutiana. And then some types of violence, namely physical violence, will be presented by Basri Dodi. Time is yours.
Thanks for the moderator. Now I will read about physical violence. This violence is easiest and most often encouraged. Victims of this type of violence usually appear directly, such as bruises, bleeding, and other forms. Usually parents who likely hit, slap, kick, pull the ears, and straddles the child neck. Next slide, please. So this is the example of physical violence. The first is a man strangled biological children in the central and in Lombok. This news was taken from social media. The next is the violence of a man against a toddler. As seen in the video, his father hitting his toddler head and stomach, and now his father is in the prison. The source in YouTube Infomedan 24 jam. Next, please. Number 3 is circulating a video of child abuse. It is known a man kicked a small child to the ground, but it's not yet known when, where, and violence took place. The source is Instagram Tangerang story. Number 4, please. For number 4 is a father beating the child with slippers until he is thrown into the river. This is violence against children occurred in Jambi. The source in TikTok metropolitan.id. And the last is a boy 5 years old in the field. He was abused by his father, stepmother, and older sister, and even threatened to kill him. The source is on TikTok, Liputan SCTV. That's all about physical violence. Thank you. Back to the moderator.
Okay, thank you for Basrido di Simatupang. And the next will be presented by Dea Mutiana.
Thank you for moderator. Now I will explain about psychological violence. Psychological violence is an act that causes for not confidence, loss of ability to act, and feeling helpless, and serve psychological suffering on a person. Psychological violence is indeed difficult to see. Even victim may not realize that they are experiencing psychological violence. This action can cause fear in children, loss of life, the child's self-confidence, skill in acting disappear, and feel have no strength or feel weak and suffer from self-physic. Here are here are some pictures that explain about psychological violence to children. Next, to the moderator.
Okay, thank you for Dea Mutiana. And the next is about sexual violence. Sexual violence included in this category is all acts that occur in the form of coercion to have sexual relation. Sexual violence against children continues to increase from time to time. This is because most children who are victims of sexual violence feel afraid. Here are some examples of sexual violence. The next slide will be presented by Putri Handayani. Time is yours.
Okay. Economic violence. Economic violence in the type of the violence and very common in the family environment. In Sweden, individual violence often occurs when parents of adolescent children to be able to contribute to a family economy, so that a phenomenon stealing children and surveillance and unheard increasingly with their friends. And next slide. And this example feature economy violence. Thank you, moderator.
Okay, thank you for Putri Handayani. And next is about social violence will be presented by Basri Dodi Simatubang. Time is yours.
Thank you, moderator. Now I will read about social violence. This type of violence include child neglect and child exploitations. Child neglect is attitude and treatment of parents who do not give proper attention to the child growth and development process. For example, children are ostracized from the family or not provided with educations and healthcare worthy. Next, please. This is some picture that explain of social violence. I think that's all about my explanation. Back to the moderator.
The next slide is about conclusion. Based on the discussion that has been described, it can be concluded that there are several factors that cause cases of violence against children in the family due to unsupported finance, parents who are lenient. Violence against children in the family is difficult to reveal to the public sphere. Cultural background, there is a relationship of position in the society that always places children in the lowest position. Based on the research finding, the researchers suggest that community should be more sensitive to violence against children that occurs in their environment, so that when there are cases of violence, they can advise or notify the authorities and parents to find out the negative impacts caused by violence. Physical and psychological violence. Psychological violence that is done to children on the physical and psychological development of children, and parents must know the right method to educate the children. Okay, that's all our project presentation. Hopefully this project is beneficial for us. And I'm as moderator and this presentation. Bye. Thank you and Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you. Thank you.